Okay, we're going to program the TI-84. So let's get started. We want to make a program that, whoops, before we do that, let's get started. Okay, so we're going to make a little outline. The first thing we're going to do is, is clear the screen, right? We want to start with a clean screen. Oh, well, first we're going to make a name. So we're going to name our program. And then we're going to always start with a clean screen. So we want to make that one of the things we do. Then 3, we have to tell ourselves what the program does, because in a month, you may forget, and definitely by the end of the semester, at Christmas time, when you take the midterm exam, you might forget what this formula does. So we need to describe. That's what we're going to do here. Describe. And then we have to do the math after we, oh no, we have to input. Next step is to input the data. That's an N, doesn't look like an N, there we go. Then we have to do the math. Then we have to display the results, right? That's what we want, results. So we're gonna do this every time we make a program. Name it, where first thing we do is clean the screen, then we're gonna describe the program so that we remember what it does, even a month from now, or 2 months, or 4 months. We input the data, we do the math, and then we display the results. So let's stop sharing this one and start sharing this one. Okay, so you got your TI-84. Now this program that I'm writing here only works on the TI-84. I only know how to program the 84. If you have another program or another calculator, you probably can make this work. You just figure out what the words are that you use in your calculator instead of this one. So I'm going to hit the program. We want to go over. So the first button I hit, see it turned red when I hit it. I hit the program right in the middle. I want to go over to make a new program, and then I'm going to hit enter. Okay, now it says give it a name. This little A means you're an alphabet, so you get to spell anything you want. I'm going to spell algebra, because that's what we're doing. We're doing a little bit of algebra. So the A, if you see right above the math key, there's an A, and right above the apps key, there's a B, and then there's a C, right here's a D. Above the 7 is an O, right? Above the 1 is where the T is. I'm just looking at the top right-hand corner. Okay? So algebra, A, and then L, and I always lose I haven't spelled in a long time here. Algebra, G, there's a E, there's a B, there's the R is hiding on top of the times, and then the A again, algebra. Okay, so I called it algebra. I'm going to hit that. So the program is called algebra. The very first thing we want to do is we want to start, whatever else you've been doing on your calculator, you want to start with a clean screen. So I'm going to go to program, right in the middle again. This is the button we push a lot. And then I go over one, so your CTL is right here, IO, where we want to be. We're going to go to IO, and I want to clear home, which is number 8. Now you can arrow down to clear home, or you can just hit the number 8 and it'll go there. Okay, hit enter, done. Now then, remember the next step is we want to describe what this program does, because a month from now, or heck, even a week from now, you might forget what it does. So we're going to display. So I hit program, got over one. Display is the third one down. So I'm going to hit 3. And there it is. Now then, I want the calculator to write some words to help me remember what this does. So I have to put those words in quotation marks. And so this is what you have to do. I have to do second alpha. Now that puts me in alphabet mode. And right above the plus signs are the quotations. So I'm going to put quotations, and then I'm going to say, what is this? What does this do, right? Or what do we need to put in is really what I'm saying. What do I need to put in order to solve this problem? So I need to put in 2 points. So I'm going to spell the word 2 points. So 4 has the T, the W's hiding over here on the minus sign. 2 is on, so there. And then I want a space. So look here, right underneath the 0, or right above the 0 is the space. So I hit space, and then it spaces over. Then I want to spell points. So that's 8. Okay, P-O-I. I is hiding somewhere. N is way over here. T is way over there. No, T is right there. 2 points, close my quotation mark, and then hit enter. And then I want to display again and spell spell it out exactly what I want, right? And so I'm going to hit program, and then I'm going to go over to display, over 1 to IO, and then down to number 3, which is display. And then I want the quotation marks. So I'm just going to do alpha this time. I'm not going to do second alpha. So I'm going to do alpha quotation marks. Because what I want to do is I want to use these parentheses. And if I'm in alpha mode, it'll only type the letter on top of the parentheses. I want to use the parentheses. So see, now I'm not in alpha mode. Then I can hit the parentheses. Then if I hit the alpha again, then you can tell because of this A, I'm in alpha mode. Then I hit A. And now then I'm not in alpha mode, so I can hit the comma. See, the comma is right above the 7 right there. This little black button, see it turn. And then alpha B, and then parentheses. And now I want a space. Remember, I have to do alpha 0 to get that space. Then parentheses again, alpha C, comma, alpha D, parentheses, close my quotation marks. There we go. That's what I want. Oh, by the way, if you make a mistake and you hit a bad button, you can do second quit and you're totally out of the wherever you made your mistake. You can then go back to program. So I did second quit to get out of there. I'm going to hit program. See, there's our program. And we're not done with it, so we want to edit the program. Right there, I hit the edit button. I over 1 to the right, and then hit enter. And see, we're right back where we were. Okay, so I have to go down to what the next step is. All right, so I'm putting in 2 points. I've got an X and a Y for the first one and an X and a Y for the second one, right? So A is the X, B is the Y of the first point, C is the X, and D is the Y of the second point. So that's what I'm going to put in. I have to, now that I've described what I want, now I'm going to input it into the calculator. So I hit the program button, and I go over 1. And then number 2 is what I want, so I'm going to hit number 2. And then I do alpha A, the comma, which is right here, alpha B, comma, alpha C, comma, Oh, look at me. I got an F in there. I don't want that. I got to delete that. So I'm deleting that. And then I am alpha C, which is right there. And then comma. And then alpha D. All right. Hit enter. Now the calculator has all the data. It has X, the very first X, the very first Y, the second X, and the second Y. Right? You put it in. Now we need to do the math. The math part of it is we're going to take the square root. We're going to do the distance formula. So that's the square root of. Now then, depending on your calculator, it may not put this parentheses here. Well, what you want is you want to have two sets of parentheses. So if you've got a square root and two parentheses, you're golden. That's what you want. Okay? Now, what are we doing in the distance formula? Well, we take the two X numbers and subtract them. So remember, the X number is alpha A. Then we subtract alpha C, because C is the other X number. Then we close the parentheses and square that. So in the distance formula, you subtract the X's and square it, and then you have to add it to, and now you have to subtract the Y's and square them. So that's B, alpha B minus alpha D. Close my parentheses, square it, and now I have to close the whole square root with this other last parentheses. So see, this second parentheses is just around these two, AC, and then this first parentheses is telling the calculator to take the square root of everything till you get to the other end of that parentheses. Right? That's what that is. Now then, you want to store it in a memory location. And so the store key is down here at the bottom left. It says STO, stow. We're going to stow it away. So, and we want to put it in a memory location. Now the locations are all the letters of the alphabet. And so I'm going to put it in L. So I'm going to hit alpha, and then this one is L. For length, because what we just did, we found the distance formula. So what we did is found the length of the thing. Let's do midpoint also. So we can do the whole thing here. So let's do midpoint. So what's midpoint? You have to add up the X's and then divide by 2. So parentheses alpha A plus alpha C, close my parentheses, alpha A plus alpha C divided by 2. So that's what I'm doing. I'm adding the two X numbers and dividing by 2. I have to store that in a memory location. So this is going to be the midpoint. Let's store it in M. So where is M? M is hiding on the divide side. So alpha divide, that's M. Okay. And then the other, you have to do the other part of the midpoint formula. So we're going to do parentheses. Now we have to add the Y values. So that's B plus D. And then we want to divide by 2. And we have to store that. So midpoint would be M and P. How about we'll put P there? So that'll be midpoint. So alpha, where's P? It's hiding on the 8. There we go. Good. All right. So now we've done the math. We named it. We started with a clear screen. We described what we're going to do. We input the data. So the data is the 4 numbers. Then we're doing something with the data. And now we're ready to display the answer. So we have to go back to program. I hit the wrong button. Look, so just go over, hit delete, and then go to program, which is this button. There we go. Program button, over 1 to display, and then down to 3. There we go. Now then, I'm going to tell it, I'm going to do second alpha because I want to spell a word, because it's going to tell me the answer, and the answer is the distance. So now I have to find D, I, Oops, did I get the I? I did not. I. And then S is hiding somewhere over here. Distance. And then N is, the hardest part for me is finding the letters because it's not. Okay, distance, close my parentheses. Did I spell that right? Distance, yes. And then enter. Now then, I'm going to hit the program button one more time, over 1, and I'm going to hit display again, which is number 3. But this time, we're not going to put quotations because we want the answer, the number, which is L, so alpha L. So whenever you do, when you just want the answer, that's the thing. You don't put quotations around it. All right, so that's L. Now then I want the midpoint as well, so I'm going to go back to program, hit display. I hit it again, look at me. Program, and then display, which is number 3. And now then I want to spell a word, so I'm going to do second alpha plus sign, which is the quotation mark. And the word I want to spell is midpoint. So M is this one, M I D P O I N T, and then quotation marks. Got it. Okay, enter. Now then I want to display the 2 answers. And remember we said the X value was M and the Y value was P. So we're going to display those 2. No quotations. So I hit the program, over 1, number 3. And then we're going to hit alpha M and then the comma. Oh, look at me, I missed. I gotta go back up, delete. Okay, alpha M. Where was the M? Right here. There we go. Then the comma, and then alpha P. All right, so the length is there, and the midpoint is X comma Y, right? The X value was in, these were the X values. This is the Y value. All right, let's see if it works. Ha ha. So we're going to do second quit. Second quit. All right. Now then, to see if it works, we just hit the program button. And see, we have one program. We hit enter. We're not editing it. We're not making a new one. We just hit enter. And it comes up and it says, you sure you want to do the program algebra? And I say yes. So I hit enter one more time. And then it tells me, you got to put in 2 points, A comma B, so the X and the Y, and then C comma D. That's what I want. So let's do one that we know the answer to. Let's do 3, enter, 0, enter, 0 again, and 4. So this is a little thing, should be 5. Oh, it is. Yay, we know the answer, and it is. So the distance is 5, and the midpoint is 1.5, comma 2. The top number is the X value. The Y number is 2, right? So it works on anything. So let's do another one. Let's just hit enter one more time. And it'll start you all back over again, right? And so now let's do, let's try something like 4, comma 3. And let's do 5, comma 1. 5 and 1. So now look, the distance is a decimal value. And sometimes that's okay. You'd say 2.236, you know, you just round it off. Oh, we can make it round off. Well, I'll show you that in a minute. You can round it off to any decimal that you want. But if you wanted to know, like if it said find the exact answer, you would have to take 2.236, right, which is L. So I'm going to do L. And see, I'll show you that that's 2.236. See, that's what L is. L was the length, remember? Well, what I want to do is I want to square that. So if I square that number, then the distance is actually the square root of 5, right? The square root of 5. If I wanted to know the exact distance, you don't write 2.236 if it says exact. You have to do the radical. Square root of 5 is the exact distance. So you know that you put the answer in L. You can square it if you need to know the exact distance. I think we'll stop sharing now. And we're done.